Holly y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And we are already at another monthly hits and misses. I think this month has gone the fastest for me out of the year, probably because I was like sick for half the month. I literally was coming out of my January, February. I was literally coming out of my February slump, and then we were like going into March and it was all good. I was on the treadmill and then I got sick. And everything pretty much went on hold for like 2 weeks. It was not fun. If y'all want to see kind of documentation on that, you want to keep up with whatever's, definitely check out the Snapchat, because that's where I engage a fair amount about my day-to-day stuff. But we have made it through the month despite being all kinds of sick and whatever, and even despite that, we're still doing pretty good. I'm looking forward to making April all kinds of awesome to kind of make up for the whatevers of March. But as per usual, we are going to start with 3 songs that I have been vibing with, or vibing as much as I can, because like I said, I was pretty much dead there for a while. But the first of which which is actually a contender for one for last month that just kind of kept on going into this month. It is the acoustic version of her name is Aurora. I hope I'm saying that right, but it is the acoustic version of her song Animal. The funny thing is, I'm not the hugest fan of the original, but I absolutely love the acoustic version. There's just something about the build-up and the power and the way her voice fluctuates. It is a song that I listen to and it just jives with me and I'm feeling it, and I've got all kinds of, it's just one of those, like, I'm not even sure what I would call her music, but it's just a song that really just kind of feels in the inward of me. I just really, really love it. I will leave the acoustic version as well as the original down below. I absolutely love her. She is a freakishly talented vocalist. Then the next one is actually from a group that I think I've featured here before, but it's from the Cruxshadows, I believe their newest album, and that is the song Singularities. This is a song that is very empowering, it's very uplifting to me, it's very just, I love the Cruxshadows on a whole, I love their sound, but what really gets me with them is their lyrics. Their lyrics are so just spot on and insightful, and it's just the depth and the layering to their lyrics. They're just so magical in a way. They're kind of an older school gothic group that's really popular among certain, underground scenes, but they're not gothic and like this everything's depressing and dark and whatever. Their lyrics are just, I just keep harping on the lyrics, but their lyrics are just so good, and I love the intricacy and the layering and the storytelling in the songs. Would highly recommend checking them out. Then last but certainly not least, kind of, I would say a more obscure group type of music. My brother actually got me into this type of music, but it is a Mongolian folk group. And part of what I love about Mongolian folk music or Mongolian folk metal, kind of that whole thing, is just how stinking Mongolian it is. It's like they take everything, all the intensity of their culture, and they just put it into this music, and it just gets you going. You're just like, oh yeah. And this month I've really been loving the group Hanggai's song, The Rising Sun. It's just so, I love the layering of the Mongolian folk music, because they use, instruments that are paramount in their culture. And so you have all this, just this culture and this depth with the music and the different instruments. And then it's just a very, I don't know, uplifting, empowering. It's kind of hard to explain. If you like it, you like it, and you jive and you whatever with it really powerfully. I also love the groups. There's The Who, Altan Urag, which is like the original one my brother got me into. And it's just so wonderful and in depth. They do the kind of throat singing that's like, was created by like their monks and stuff. It's just such a wonderful cultural experience, and I love the insurgence that this type of music has been getting recently. Then let's get on with the makeup. A sort of, obvious one. I think all of y'all who follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and all that jazz probably saw this coming. This is the Midas Cosmetics and Smokey Glow palette. And y'all, this palette is basically perfection. I have heard that apparently this is gonna be made as long as the demand is there. So if you have been in the market for kind of like a pinky, purpley, ready palette situation, I highly recommend waiting for a restock of this, because this is the first time I'd ever tried their eyeshadow formula and it completely blew me away. I love the shimmers. I love the matte to shimmer ratio, and you all know that your girl, if I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. The mattes in a palette build the backbone of said palette, and this palette has one of the strongest backbones I have ever tried in my life. The mattes are just absolutely sublime. They are heckin' pigmented. They are smooth. They are blendable. They are just absolutely amazing. Trying this palette out makes me want to try so much more from the brand, because it was just so good. Like, honestly, forget Too Faced, forget Urban Decay, forget KVD. This is the new shiz that everyone needs to get on, because the formula is just, the color story aside, the fact that it's Hannah's palette and it's all kind of pink and sparkly, that aside, the formula is one of the most bomb diggity formulas I've ever tried. Then a pink tone palette that was a lot less bomb diggity. I'm pretty sure my review for this is out. It had to be pushed back due to just other videos coming up. But the Melt Cosmetics Millennial Pinx palette, which, spoiler alert, I was gonna return, but now I can't because Sephora locations are not open. But you got it looking in here like this. I did anti-haul this shiz, y'all would have seen that, but I had high hopes for it. Y'all, this is not the formula that I am used to and expectant from Melt Cosmetics. Per usual, they are very, very powdery. You know, that's kind of what you go for. But you know, a powdery shadow I can handle if it's good. These are not good. They're powdery. They're not really, like, they're pigmented, but they just tend to not really play nicely together. You know, they don't layer well. They kind of, you know, blend out into whatever. These do not want to blend worth a darn. They're just like, nope. Not gonna do it. If you take like a little eyeliner brush and use these as eyeliner, that would probably work, because they don't want to budge after you put them down. And then the shimmers that were included were just really subpar. This one was really chunky. This one, which is the one that looks kind of like, ooh boy. And then this one, these two were so disappointing. They were just basically nothing. Like the epitome of an effervescent fairy fart eyeshadow. And when you got these two like super beautiful standout shades, you would expect more from them. I will leave that review down below for you to get more in depth. But just on a whole, you know, kind of disjointed color story aside, it just, you know, I had hopes because it's in there, you know, this is Gemini, this is 27, you know, it's that format. So you're like, okay, if they're doing that, maybe they're sticking to some kind of consistent formula. No, they're not. And this was just super hideously underwhelming, especially coming from Melt Cosmetics that usually has a much higher standard of quality control than I would say Too Faced or Urban Decay. And to kind of have this be a really big dud, just, it stung a little bit. Next up is something that you all would have seen in my my stash for the month, and I was pulling things out and being like, oh, I need to try these out. I need to use these. And one of the things was this Japanesque Velvet Touch finishing powder, which at one point was one of my favorite things. I don't know if it's because my skin was different. I don't know if it's because I just had no idea how to do makeup at the time. I was kind of in my all matte vampire phase. And I don't know, you can't see it all, but there is a pretty significant dip going on there in this powder, and I pulled it out and I was using it, and I've come to the conclusion, whether the powder has gone off or what, I don't like this. Yeah, it's very pale, it's very translucent, but every time I've used this and I've looked at like because when I do my setting, I don't bake or anything like that. I just gently set the areas where I sweat, basically. So the nose and right up here, and then we set the under eye, but it would just look so dry and nasty, and it wouldn't wear well, and it's just really accentuated all the little fine lines and all the little wrinkles and all the things we're trying to cover up. With this powder on, your secret will be outed to every single person. I'm using the Laura Mercier one today, and we're looking all nice and smooth and illuminated and flawless, whereas this made me look kind of nasty, cakey, and crepey. And so, spoiler alert, when you see the next month, this is getting pulled out and this is getting trashed. Because like I said, I don't know if it's just because my opinions have changed or because this has gone off, but for me, now and the fate of this powder, it ain't staying in the collection. Next up is a positive from the makeup rotation, which I'm actually really happy with how this makeup rotation thing is going to be going, because then it's kind of, I've got new and different things to show in my monthly hits and misses, even if I'm not buying stuff. But y'all would have seen I put these AOA Studio Perfect blushes in there. These are $1 from Shop Miss A, the Shop Miss A site. I'm pretty sure I put all the blushes I bought from that site in this rotation. Let me tell you, for $1, these are pretty bomb diggity. They got like at least 10 different shades, varying from like hot pink to orange to nude. The one that I've really been using is this shade here in Wispy, and then this one is in Dandy, kind of peachy, neutrally, whatever shades. And then I really love this one in Looker. If you're someone who doesn't have a big budget, or someone who's just trying to build up their collection, for $1, these are really, really good. I would say they're comparable to like, a lot of other drugstore blushes. There's Milani, there's Elf, CoverGirl, Revlon, kind of in that department. But for being $1, these are pretty good. This is a formula that I would pay probably around, if I paid like $10 or $12, I would be pretty sussed about this. And they're really nice and little and compact, and they've, like I said, they've got a billion shades, but these, they're nice, they're smooth, they're pigmented, they seem to blend really well. So all in all, these were a very pleasant hit for me. So I will be doing that dollar blush and highlighter video, so stay tuned for that, but I've got to try out all the products first. Next up, also Shop Miss A blushes that I pulled into that rotation. Sadly, these don't buy these. These are the Starry blushes. That's just it. I love the packaging. It's all kinds of cute and whatever, and it's got this like sand dune embossing. Now, the problem with these, firstly, they're super, super powdery and they're really pigmented. But the problem with that is usually when I do my blush, I like to just kind of kiss it a little bit there. I like being very in control of how much product I have on my brush and where I'm putting it. So if you were to do like a swirl, even a gentle swirl, you would get so much product, and even kicking it off, it's crazy clown blush in like 1 second. But part of the problem with these is when you kiss them down onto the little embossing, you've got the little spaces where you have blush and little spaces where you don't, and then you kiss it on your cheek, it literally leaves an imprint, and that imprint does not want to blend out. And so you keep adding more and you keep getting different imprints, and it's shading and it's whatevering, and then it just doesn't want to blend out. On one of the videos where I wore this, one of y'all even was like, girl, the blush is kind of pretty looking, but that don't look blended. And I'm like, I know. And the colors were so pretty, very up my alley, but they just did not did not blend. They really dry. They kind of just accentuated, you know, for $1, even for $1, don't get these. Get the AOA ones. These ones were just kind of a no. I might ask my like sister-in-laws if they need like play makeup for their daughters or something like that, but for a grown woman trying to do her makeup, no. This is not a thing. It was only a $3 loss there, but it's not happening. Next up is a completely random favorite. I got a package from one of y'all from Colourpop. I don't know who it is. If any of y'all, like, for all y'all that send me stuff that's anonymous, I'm like, I want to thank you, like, personally, because I never expect y'all to send me stuff. You know, I'm not out here being all like, I'm a YouTuber, send me free shiz. And so anytime any of y'all send me something, it really touches me really deeply. But one of y'all sent me a fair amount of the Colourpop Disney Midnight Masquerade, which to whoever did that, thank you so freaking much, because this was something that I internally wanted, but I'm trying to not buy blush and highlighter in 2020. So this even came at kind of like I was having a rough day, and then I got this package and I was like, I love my subscribers so much. And let me tell you, these two highlighters, I am wearing the Horse and Carriage, the Cinderella one. I don't know if you can see, but the glow that these give is absolutely stunning. This one here, the Cinderella one, is like your typical just, oh my gosh, maybe a typical color, but oh my, it's so pretty. It is such a beautiful, smooth, and blinding formula. If all of Colourpop's highlighters were this, I would lose my mind. And then the other one is Big Tough Girl, which is Megara from Hercules. Is this beautiful purpley one. Now, I don't wear this one on its own. I mix it in with, honestly, something like this to kind of give myself that like purpley hue, but not looking like I got a purple streak going down my cheek. But once again, it's just so beautiful. I mean, the first time I used this one, it just about blew my mind. I was like, really, Colourpop? Really? You've been holding out on me being able to do highlighters like this. I think these might be on sale right now. That might be by one of y'all sent them to me. But I mean, even full price, these highlighters, I haven't broken into the blushes yet, and two of the highlighters are gonna be more summer shades. But if you are, I mean, these are just so blinking beautiful. I mean, componentry and Disney princessness aside, the formula and the cha-cha-cha-cha that you are getting off of these are bomb diggity to the max. So an absolute thank you to whoever sent this. I love you. Next up is something that was sent to me by a company y'all would have seen on Snapchat. I just about lost my shiz because Good Molecules, which is a skincare brand, was like, hey, we like your channel. Would you like to try some products? And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Skincare. Because y'all know at this point in my makeup game, skincare honestly matters more to me than makeup, and I get more excited about finding skincare that works for me than I do makeup. So to have a skincare company contact me, that was just, I'm like, that's it. I've reached my peak on YouTube. But this serum here, this is the Super Peptide Serum, formulated with tripeptides to target fine lines, wrinkles, and dullness. So what I do is I'll wash my face with my cleanser, and then I will take this and I will put it in like my trouble areas, the areas where I've got texture, more wrinkles, do a little bit here. And this has been really, really nice. I love me a good serum that is going to help the texture department right here, because that is one of my issues where I can tell when something isn't working for me, because I'll be using something like this, be like, oh yeah, we smooth, we snatched, and then I'll stop using it or use something else, and I'll be like, I can see bumps, I do get like little red bumps and kind of just in this area right here, this like landing strip section. And this has really been helping. I'm not so sure about the wrinkles or anything like that, but it's definitely helping texture, and it's definitely helping brightness and whatever. I was actually on Snapchat today and I was like, girl, your skin looking good. And I do believe that's in part to using this as well as the Tatcha Deep Cleanse Rice Polish. Currently, absolutely loving this. Cannot wait to pan this, honestly. Then something also from that brand that, this is kind of like I'm not sure if it's a middle ground or what. I'm not sure how I feel about it so far. And I don't know if that's because I have got normal to dry skin. I've got like normal up in here, dry here, and then everything else is normal. But this is a silicone-free priming moisturizer. It's really thick. It's kind of like the a consistency akin to the Milk Makeup vegan milk moisturizer. But the thing about this is it's really thick. And it comes out looking like that. And it like, oh, well, now it's gonna be fine. On my face, for some reason, it may be the products I'm using under it. See, look, it disappears and it feels all great and wonderful. But with a couple of times I've been using it on my face, is I've noticed like I'm like trying to blend it out and it's like sunscreen, where you know how you've got the sunscreen and you're trying to blend it out and you're left with like that whiteness. I don't know if that's because what I've got underneath it, because usually before I moisturize I do serum, because they say when you do your skincare you want to go from like the thinnest consistency to the thickest consistency. I mean, having it on the back of my hand was a completely different experience than having it on my face, because it felt so much thicker and so much like I'm blending it out, and I'm like, all right, are you sinking in yet? Are you absorbed? Are we working? So obviously I'm gonna have to try this out more, because when it comes to skincare, you know your girl likes to be super informed. I don't like to recommend nothing to y'all just willy-nilly. I mean, it says formulated with shea butter, macadamia seed oil, and plant-derived silicone alternative to deeply hydrate, smooth, and nourish the skin. Sounds like all kinds of good stuff, but for right now it's just kind of like I'm not exactly sure. Then last but not least, another skincare item. This was actually recommended to me by one of y'all who said that this was a less expensive dupe for the Dr. Brandt Microdermabrasion, which is one of my favorite holy grail skincare products. Now, while I like this, I don't think it's necessarily a dupe, not just in consistency or anything like that. It's nice. I like it. I've been using it, but I don't think it's something that's going to replace the Dr. Brandt Microdermabrasion, because I swear by that. That is one of the pricey skincare items that I say is worth every penny. And I don't say that lightly, because some pricey skincare is not worth the money. But if you're looking for something like that, I think this would be a good alternative. I don't think it is as deep, as intense as the microdermabrasion, which may be good for someone who's got more sensitive skin. So if you're looking for something that's kind of along those lines, but you've got like a lower price point, not as big of a budget, because that microdermabrasion is really pricey. And it's funny because the first time I got it, one of y'all sent me a sample FabFitFun box, and it was in there, and I looked at the price and I was like, well, I'm too poor to be able to afford this. And it has since become a product that I have repurchased. But I have been enjoying this for kind of like a lighter. It is a product that it says to use every 2 to 3 days, or 2 to 3 times per week. I guess that's 2 to 3 days. But I am enjoying it. But like I said, I don't think it's something that's intense. This is, I usually use the microdermabrasion after a more extended period of time, or if I want my skin to be extra popping like the next day. You know, this is something that's kind of a more casual, a more chill, less intense skincare, whatever. But I have been enjoying it, and I do think it's something that if any of y'all are interested in that sort of skincare treatment thing, this would be good to check out. All right, all y'all, there we have those hits and misses. I've been really enjoying the makeup rotation and how it's kind of influencing my hits and misses, and kind of going and doing things and reliving all kinds of stuff. Obviously, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on these products down below. You know, what are your experiences, especially with that one, this moisturizer. If there's a certain way any of y'all use this and you make it work, please let me know down below, because there's nothing more disappointing than having skincare not work for you. Like, makeup is one thing, but when it's skincare, I kind of take it a little bit personally. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!